So this should be like a really short review. No Sense Makes Sense came out in 1993 or 94, depending on where you see this. But it is a low quality opinion piece about Charles Manson, simply put. It's a short film, not even 22 minutes. I didn't expect any new information to come out of this, but I also didn't expect it to be so bad. The editing is terrible, with constant rips and takes of Nicholas Schreck, of all people, being interviewed in various capacities, along with other clips of people, some being Manson himself. As a viewer, the film comes off as nothing more than just like a Gen X. It's like Gen X trash, really, where it's like the Gen X edgy, we're so like scary kind of thing, and I just roll my eyes. I'm like, okay, dude. So, to me, this was not fun or informative. It's more of an art piece that takes rips of it takes rips of VHS tapes. I mean, the quality is so bad of all these clips. But to me, it's like, okay, this is just to make an aesthetic, right? Instead of conveying any actual real information at all. I'm disappointed that there's so much in this film that revolves around Nicholas Schreck. I really don't care about what that dude has to say. Tell me more about Manson himself. If this is going to be about Charles Manson, you should include mostly clips about Charles Manson. But I suppose that the creator to this film didn't have much backing to their contentions. Is that right? They don't actually say anything. Instead, they broadcast, or they use like a broadcast format where it's the rolling screen on a text, or rolling text on a screen, sorry, to show what his points are. So the viewer has to read everything on the screen that isn't, a Nicholas Schreck clip. The problem with that, on top of that, where the viewer has to read these points, is that there's not enough time for the viewer to read the points because it'll be like maybe 5 seconds or so, and then it doesn't show the entire thing, and then it goes to another clip. I'm like, I didn't even get to fucking read that. And I know it's like, oh, pause the video. No, you should give me the time to read it if you're going to put it on screen. Many of the times, the movie cuts to another clip and it has these annoying screeches and loud sounds. You're just like, this just makes me want to watch this even less. Ugh. So, while I do agree, one of the points brought up is how Bugliosi pushed the Helter-Skelter theory, that Helter-Skelter was more just like a narrative. What bothers me is that the creator of this film didn't seem to understand that Bugliosi created the Helter-Skelter theory likely for the reason of keep Manson behind bars. I think that few people think of that contention in a legal way. Many people are like, why did Helter Skelter even get, as big a theory as it did? Well, if you read the court transcripts, so let me just read my review here, okay? Despite this film mentioning the court transcripts, the creator did not seem to catch in these transcripts that there were other charges that Manson was being looked at right before the Tate LaBianca arrests. Because of this, the film comes off as nothing more as an apologetic Manson love letter that just seems to zoom in on Nicholas Schreck's forehead. So my point is that, the creator of this film brings up, the court transcripts show something different. And I'm like, yeah, it does, but you don't seem to have caught on to it either. One of the main reasons is that I'm not going to go too crazy off this. I'm just going to say there are multiple things that Manson was being looked at. Correct. Right? The problem is that if Bugliosi didn't use Helter Skelter, in my personal opinion, I think that Manson probably would have only gotten another 30 years, aka he would have still walked one day. And I think that's one of the reasons why Bugliosi tried so hard to get Charlie in particular. But this film doesn't say that. And that's one of the things that negative contentions about this film. It doesn't make any, it makes no sense. No sense makes sense. And this film makes no sense, basically. Right? So the film ends with a quote from Manson, and it's like as if the viewer is just supposed to agree with what he says. To me, I think it's all just a flimsy ploy to try convincing others that Manson should have been freed and was a victim of the system, while completely overlooking the actual crimes he committed. There were actual crimes that Charles Manson committed, and I don't know why some people seem to ignore that. There is all this emphasis on the Tate murder, but none on Gary Hinman. They mention that, of course, Bobby Beausoleil killed Gary, but they don't mention that Manson was there to slash Gary's ear. And, that's where Manson really was at that crime. There's holes in the argument, especially in this film, that Manson should have been free. So, very short review, but I can't recommend this film. It's hard to follow. And honestly, you would just have a better time reading Helter Skelter. Tell you the truth.